نتوجه إليك بنبيك نبي الرحمة محمد صلى الله عليه وآله. يا أبا القاسم يا رسول الله، يا إمام الرحمة يا سيدنا ومولانا، إنا توجهنا واستشفعنا وتوسلنا بك إلى الله، وخدمناك بين يدي حاجاتنا يا وجيها عند الله، اشفعي لنا عند الله. يا أبا محمد يا حسن بن علي، أيها المجتبى يا ابن رسول الله، يا حجة الله على خلقه، يا سيدنا ومولانا، إنا توجهنا واستشفعنا وتوسلنا بك إلى الله، وخدمناك بين يدي حاجاتنا يا وجيها عند الله، اشفع لنا يا أبا عبد الله يا حسين بن علي، أيها الشهيد يا ابن رسول الله، يا حجة الله على خلقه، يا سيدنا ومولانا، إنا استشفعنا وتوسلنا بك إلى الله، وخدمناك بين يدي حاجاتنا يا وجيها عند الله، اشفع لنا عند الله. يا أبا الحسن يا علي بن الحسين، يا زين العابدين يا ابن رسول الله، يا حجة الله على خلقه، يا سيدنا ومولانا، إنا توجهنا واستشفعنا وتوسلنا بك إلى الله، وخدمناك بين يدي حاجاتنا يا وجيها عند الله، اشفع لنا عند الله. يا أبا جعفر يا محمد بن علي، أيها الباقر يا ابن رسول الله، يا حجة الله على خلقه، يا سيدنا ومولانا، إنا توجهنا واستشفعنا وتوسلنا بك إلى الله، وخدمناك بين يدي حاجاتنا يا وجيها عند الله، اشفع لنا عند الله. يا أبا عبد الله يا جعفر بن محمد، أيها الصادق يا ابن رسول الله، يا حجة الله على خلقه، يا سيدنا ومولانا، إنا توجهنا واستشفعنا وتوسلنا بك إلى الله، وخدمناك بين يدي حاجاتنا يا وجيها عند الله، اشفع لنا عند الله. يا أبا الحسن يا موسى بن جعفر، أيها الكاظم يا ابن رسول الله، يا حجة الله خلقه يا سيدنا ومولانا إنا توجهنا واستشفعنا وتوسلنا بك إلى الله وقدمناك بين يدي حاجاتنا يا وجيها عند الله اشفع لنا يا أبا الحسن يا علي بن موسى أيها الرضا يا ابن رسول الله يا حجة الله على خلقه يا سيدنا ومولانا إنا توجهنا واستشفعنا وتوسلنا بك إلى الله وقدمناك بين يدي حاجاتنا يا وجيها عند الله اشفع لنا عند الله يا أبا جعفر يا محمد بن علي أيها التقي الجواد يا ابن رسول الله يا حجة الله على خلقه يا سيدنا ومولانا إنا توجهنا واستشفعنا وتوسلنا بك إلى الله وقدمناك بين يدي حاجاتنا يا وجيها عند الله اشفع لنا عند الله يا أبا الحسن يا علي بن محمد أيها الهادي النقي من رسول الله يا حجة الله على خلقه يا سيدنا ومولانا إنا توجهنا واستشفعنا وتوسلنا بك إلى الله وقدمناك بين يدي حاجاتنا يا وجيها عند الله اشفع لنا يا أبا محمد يا حسن بن علي أيها الزكي والعسكري يا ابن رسول الله يا حجة الله على خلقه يا سيدنا ومولانا إنا توجهنا واستشفعنا وتوسلنا بك إلى الله وقدمناك بين يدي حاجاتنا يا وجيها عند الله اشفع لنا عند الله يا وجيها عند الله اشفع لنا عند الله يا وسيع الحسن والقلفين حجة أيها القائم المنتظر المهدي يا ابن رسول الله يا حجة الله على خلقه يا سيدنا ومولانا إنا توجهنا واستشفعنا وتوسلنا بك إلى الله وقدمناك بين يدي حاجاتنا يا وجيها عند الله اشفع لنا عند الله. Please ask for your hajat. يا ساداتي ومولي إني توجهت بكم أئمتي وعدتي ليوم فقري وحاجتي إلى الله وتوسلت بكم إلى الله واستشفعت بكم إلى الله فاشفعوني عند الله واستنقذوني من الذنوب عند الله فإنكم وسيلتي إلى الله وبحبكم وبقربكم أرجو نجاة من الله فكونوا عند الله رجائي يا ساداتي يا أولياء الله صلى الله عليهم أجمعين ولعن الله أعداء الله الظالمين من الأولين والآخرين آمين رب العالمين.
آج کی جو یہ مجلس ہے سالانہ مجلس حیدر بھائی کی طرف سے منسوب ہے مولانا عباس کی طرف سے اور بی بی سکینہ کی شہادت کی، تو ایک سلام مولانا عباس کی شان میں اور پھر ایک مرثیہ بی بی سکینہ کی. بآواز بلند نعرے صلوات.
اللہم صلی علی محمد و آل محمد.
زیغ میں شیر خدا عباس ہے سب سے جدا، زیغ میں شیر خدا عباس ہے سب سے جدا، ام البنی کا ہے پسر زہرا کے دل کی ہے دعا، زیغ میں شیر خدا عباس ہے سب سے جدا، اور ہے فضا آپ کے روبرو حیدر نما، ہے فضا آپ کے روبرو حیدر نما، ارے دونوں ہی کتنے شجاع اور پے کرے صبر و رضا، دونوں ہی کتنے شجاع اور پے کرے صبر و رضا، زیغ میں شیر خدا عباس ہے سب سے جدا، اور ان کی رگوں میں خون ہے حیدر کرار کا، ان کی رگوں میں خون ہے حیدر کرار کا، ارے ہے وراثت میں ملی قوت شیر خدا، ہے وراثت میں ملی قوت شیر خدا، زیغ میں شیر خدا عباس ہے سب سے جدا، اور دیکھ کر انداز جنگ عباس کا صفین میں آ گئے شاید علی، دشمن بھی یہ کہنے لگا غم شب خدا
عباس ہیں
سب سے
جدا،
اور ہاتھ میں پانی کو لے کر نہ پیا عباس نے، ہاتھ میں پانی کو لے کر نہ پیا عباس نے۔ ارے دنیا میں پھر ایسا کہیں ملتا نہیں در سے وفا، دنیا میں پھر ایسا کہیں ملتا نہیں در سے وفا، غم شیر خدا
عباس ہیں سب سے جدا،
اور ہاتھوں پہ اپنے ہے سنبھالا لڑکھڑاتے دین کو، ہاتھوں پہ اپنے ہے سنبھالا لڑکھڑاتے دین کو، ارے بازو کٹے غازی تیرے پر بچ گیا دین خدا، ارے بازو کٹے غازی تیرے پر بچ گیا دین خدا، غم
شیر خدا عباس ہیں سب سے جدا،
اور کہنے لگی بالی سکینہ دیکھ کر گرتا علم، کہنے لگی بالی سکینہ دیکھ کر گرتا علم، لوٹ کر نہ آئیں گے اب کبھی میرے چچا، غم شیر خدا عباس ہیں
سب سے جدا،
اور جب گرا گھوڑے سے غازی شاہ نے رو کر کہا، جب گرا گھوڑے سے غازی شاہ نے رو کر کہا، ارے جھک گئی میری کمر جو نہ رہا بھائی میرا، غم
شیر
خدا
عباس ہیں سب سے جدا،
اور دیکھ کر عباس کے لاشے کو زینب نے کہا، دیکھ کر عباس کے لاشے کو زینب نے کہا، ارے اب ہوا مجھ کو یقین چھن جائے گی سر سے ردا، اب ہوا مجھ کو یقین چھن جائے گی سر سے ردا، غم شیر
خدا عباس ہیں سب سے جدا،
ایک نگاہ لطف مجھ پر بھی پڑے غازی میرے، ہر تیرے در پہ سر جھکائے عابدی بھی ہے کھڑا، غم سب سے جدا، ام البنی کا ہے پسر، زہرا کے دل کی ہے دعا، زہرا میں شیر خدا.
صلوات اللہم صلی ایک اب آواز بلند آ رہی ہے. فاتحہ. بی بی سکینہ کی شہادت کے حوالے سے ایک بآواز بلند نعرہ صلوات.
اللہم صلی علی محمد و آل محمد.
قید خانے میں سکینہ کا جو دم گھٹنے لگا، رو کے چلائی کہ آ جاؤ کہاں ہو بابا، اور پھر کے دریا سے تو آئے نہیں عباس چچا، جاتے جاتے نہ دیا آپ نے کچھ اپنا پتا، حال دل ہائے غضب اپنا سناؤں کس کو، اپنی امداد کی خاطر میں بلاؤں کس کو، اپنی امداد کی خاطر میں بلاؤں کس کو. ارے شمر نے کھینچ کے گردن میں جو باندھی ہے رس، ارے درد ہوتا ہے بہت مجھے اے شاہ زمان ہو گیا ہائے، سکینہ کا زمانہ
دشمن
دست ظالم سے تو کوئی نہ بچانے آیا، ارے جو بھی آیا وہ سکینہ کو رلانے آیا، ارے جو بھی آیا وہ سکینہ کو رلانے آیا. ارے یہی دستور زمانے کا ہمیشہ سے رہا، ارے لوگ دیتے ہیں یتیموں کو دلاسا بابا، آپ کی بیٹی پہ جو آئی یتیمی کی بلا، ارے میں جو روئی تو ستمگر نے تماچا مارا، ارے نیلے رخسار سکینہ کے ہیں آ کر دیکھو، ارے کان زخمی ہوئے چھینے گئے گوہر دیکھو، کان زخمی ہوئے چھینے گئے گوہر دیکھو، کہ اب آخری دیدار دکھاؤ مجھ کو، ارے دل دھڑکتا ہے کلیجے لگاؤ مجھ کو، ارے کان مشتاق ہیں، آواز سناؤ مجھ کو، ارے آخری وقت ہے، سینے پہ سلاؤ مجھ کو، ارے خاک پر سوتی ہوں میں آپ سے چھٹ کر بابا، ارے زندگی اب تو سکینہ کی ہے دو بر بابا، زندگی اب تو سکینہ کی دو بر بابا، ارے بین کر کر کے سکینہ کو جو غش آنے لگا، خواب میں باپ کی صورت نظر آئی اسے، ارے باپ کو دیکھ کے چلانے لگی باپ، ارے آپ کے بعد سکینہ کی تو حالت ہے تب، آپ کے بعد کیوں سکینہ کی ہے حالت ہے تب، آپ آئے نا تو عباس چچا نے پوچھا، ارے آئے اس وقت ہو جب آنکھیں خزانے پوچھا، آئے اس وقت ہو جب آ کے خزانے پوچھا، آئے اس وقت ہو جب آ کے خزانے پوچھا، ناگہاں خید میں شبیر کا سر آیا نظر، اور روشن ہوئے زندان کے دیواروں پہ تعظیم اٹھی بیبیاں کھولے ہوئے سر، ہر بچی نے رو کے کہا ہائے پدر ہائے پدر، ارے مجھ سے الفت ہے تو گودی میں میری آ جاؤ، اچھے بابا نہ سکینہ کو بہت تڑپ، اچھے بابا نہ سکینہ کو بہت، ارے رو کے آگے بڑھی اور باپ کے سر کو چوما، اپنے رخسار کو شبیر کے عارض پہ رکھا، ہر بند آنکھیں ہوئیں، بابا سے کیا اپنے گلا، کبھی چلا کے کہا واہ ابتا واہ ابتا، ارے بند نالے ہوئے آنسو تھمے خاموش ہوئی، ارے ماں یہ چلائی کہ بچی میری بے ہوش ہوئی، ماں یہ چلائی کہ بچی میری بے ہوش ہوئی، غش ادھر آیا ادھر موت کا پیغام آیا، خواب میں باپ کی صورت نظر آئی اسے، ارے نبض چلتی ہے سکینہ کی یا اس نے کی خزاں، ارے یک بکک ہو گئی خاموش یہ قصہ ہے کیا، یک بیک ہو گئی خاموش یہ قصہ ہے کیا، ارے نبض پر ہاتھ رکھا بھائی کا دل ٹوٹ گیا، ماں یہ چلائی رو کے چلائے بہن چھوٹ گیا ارے رو کے چلائے بہن سا تیرا چھوٹ گیا ارے ماں یہ چلائی کہ میری پیاری بچی ابھی زندہ تھی میری گودی کی پالی بچی ارے دیکھتے دیکھتے دنیا سے سداری بچی ارے آج روتی ہے یہ ماں درد کی ماری بچی ارے کوکھ اجڑی ہے میری مجھ کو ذرا رونے دو ارے نیند میں بچی ہے مادر کو فدا ہونے دو نیند میں بچی ہے مادر کو فدا ہونے دو نیند میں بچی ہے مادر کو فدا ہونے دو قید خانے میں السلام علیکم. آپ لوگوں سے پہلی گزارش تو یہ ہے کہ جتنا آگے ہو سکے آ جائیں. وی ایکسپیکٹنگ الحمدللہ لاٹ آف پیپل ٹوڈے, سو دے ول بی جوائننگ اس فرام دی بیک ود لاؤڈ صلوات پلیز. اللہم صلی علی محمد و آل محمد وعجل فرجهم. Just two announcements. Our next program here for the Arba'in Majalis will start from Wednesday, October 16th, and inshallah till after Arba'in we'll have a program. So please join us. So for those majalis, the details will be emailed to you with the timings and everything. So Wednesday, October 16th is our first majlis, inshallah, in the evening at 7:30 p.m. right after Salat Maghrib, inshallah. So please join us Wednesday night. And on the weekends, as you know, we have it in the afternoons at 2:30 p.m. So inshallah, we'll get more details as the time gets closer. And then another announcement is that, I just had one, I can't find it. It's for our beloved Momin Abidi uncle who passed away. His Jahlum Majlis, inshallah, will be on Thursday, October 31st at Altane Zehra. And that will be Thursday, so it will be in the evening after, inshallah, Salat Maghrib. So please be here for this Majlis. Altane Zehra, Thursday, October 31st for Momin Abidi uncle's Jahlum Majlis, inshallah. After Maulana's speech, I'll request all of you to please be seated. We have a small salam by Brother Hadi, and then right after the salam, we'll proceed with Matam Khan, inshallah. We're honored to have Maulana Bilal Hussain joining us today. We thank him for coming here today. He had a pretty busy day today, but he is here. We thank him, and inshallah, he'll be starting the majlis. Loud salawat for Maulana. Allah.
Before we begin our discussion, there is a request for Fatiha for the marhumin of our sponsors and for all of our marhumin. Khususan, please remember Hassan Raza ibn Nazir Raza Ula Nazar Hussain, Ghulam Abbas Hussain, son of Muhammad Hussain, Sayyidah Fatima Begum, daughter of Sayyid Lutfi Ali, Khatun Begum, daughter of Wala Hussain, Abid Hassan Raza, son of Hassan Raza. Rahimullah man yaqra'a Surat al-Fatiha. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. صلى على أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم ربي اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي الحمد لله رب العالمين ثم الصلاة والسلام على سيدنا ونبينا وحبيب إله العالمين أبي القاسم محمد وعلى آله الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين أما بعد فقد قال الله تعالى في كتابه المجيد بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم فأما اليتيم فلا تقهر وأما السائل فلا تنهر وأما بنعمة ربك فحدث صدق الله العلي العظيم Your second salawat for love of Muhammad wa Ali Muhammad. And your loudest salawat to hasten the reappearance of the master of our time, Sahibul Asr wa Zaman. أعظم الله أجورنا وأجوركم بمصابنا أهل بيت عليهم السلام. May Allah increase the reward that we receive for the commemoration of the difficulties of Ali Muhammad. The discussion for today, I had initially planned that it would primarily be around the discussion of children. And considering as we are commemorating the Shahadath of Bibi Ruqayya, or in our culture as we refer to as Bibi Sakina, it would center around purely the concept of children. However, sometimes in discussing the topic of children, we have to answer the questions of children as well too. So inshallah we'll shift our discussion as we go along. But initially when we start this conversation, one of the things that we realize is there is some debate, not even debate, discussion around this personality. What was her name? How old was she? Who was this personality? And we find that within our culture and within our discussions that this personality is described a few different ways. For example, in a primarily Arab-dominant culture, the name Ruqayya is used. And in our culture, more so, we use the name Sakina. And what number daughter was this of the Imam? What was her position? What was her personality? These are concepts and conversations that we have to try and understand the personalities present, Waqi' of Karbala, and the history that we learn from them. One of the things that we know is that in history, the women of the household of Ali Muhammad were not openly discussed or presented among society to be well known. And when the mu'arrikheen and when the historians, when they started to narrate the events of Karbala, they weren't familiar with these personalities, and so at times there was a difficulty in understanding who was saying what and which personality was described and who was speaking. To give you an elaboration, for example, when we hear the history of Karbala and we hear the Waqi' of Karbala, we see, especially once the day of Ashura completes, many narrations by Bibi Zainab. Yet you don't see the name of Kulthum in any of them. The references is that both of these daughters of Imam Ali were actually named Zainab, and Kulthum was the laqab or the title given to her. But when, for example, a mu'arrikh would be present and would be following along or watching the waqi' of the prisoners in the Sibaya brought into these places, and they would ask, who was this speaking? And the answer came, this was the daughter of Imam Ali, the name was given Zainab. So meaning that in the process of narration, this personality didn't know the difference between this Zainab and that Zainab and the older one and the younger one, so they just simply wrote Zainab. Qalat Zainab, Zainab said, and they wrote the narration. So some people, for example, made the mistake of saying that Kulthum had no role after the event of Karbala because we said we didn't see her name in the history books. So the personality became hidden before us, and that historians lost the reality of the personalities present. The same way when we take a look at, for example, in cultural facets, we look at the daughters of Imam Hussain. The right of a woman is that her hijab is respected, that her privacy is given preference. And the Ahlul Bayt taught us this. So it wasn't the case that when a daughter, inshallah, alhamdulillah, was born into the house of Ahlul Bayt, that they would bring her out and say, Bala, yes, here's my daughter, come meet her, come say Assalamu alaikum. And they would introduce her to the society as a whole. Rather, it was that this was a private matter, and her hijab and her privacy was something that was established initially. If you want your daughters and your women to be practitioners of hijab and of modesty, you have to introduce modesty from the beginning. You have to establish the culture of modesty within your household from when they're small children, that they have an appreciation for modesty. So therefore, many of the women of the household of Rasulullah, we don't know and we're not familiar with. So for example, there's a discussion and debate that the title Sakina, the one who is a sort of peace and comfort, was this the youngest daughter who was given this title, or as a matter of fact, in many historians, it's the eldest daughter who was given this title. The eldest daughter of Imam Hussain, which is why, for example, in some instances when you see these reports from Sham, and you see the reports along the way, at times it says that Sakina said, and you see this lengthy speech that comes from a personality of Sakina. And some of us, for example, we look at this and we say, wow, a 4-year-old said this? Because our introduction to the names and titles of these personalities is sometimes convoluted, it's mixed up. But rather, it's Fatima, who we refer to as Fatima, the eldest daughter, who is sometimes referred to as Sakina. And this title of Sakina is one that we've attached to the personality of what is known in the Arabic culture as Ruqayya. Some even go to the debate. This is a little bit of a history background. We're okay? We're okay? Sallu ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. Some have gone so far as to say in the historical background and discussion of the women and the Sibaya and the prisoners, to say that Ruqayya and Sakina are the same person, and others have said they were different people. Ruqayya is a title that usually is referred to as a personality who weeps a lot or who is sad a lot. And they say that what happened was that this daughter, this youngest daughter of Imam Hussain, was in the life of Imam Hussain referred to as Sakina. And after the Shahadath of Imam Hussain, she wept so much they called her Ruqayya. Others say no, Sakina was one personality, Ruqayya was another personality. What we commemorate on the 5th of Safar is the Shahadath of this youngest daughter of Imam Hussain, whether we call her Ruqayya or we call her Sakina. The next part of debate comes that, is this the personality who was buried in Sham? Now some historians, in whatever interest they have, they've come to the conclusion that in Sham, there are 2 authentic graves that we're certain of. One is that of Sayyidah Zainab, which is again something that they try to play with. And they say, no, maybe she was buried in Egypt or she was buried in somewhere else. But we have satisfaction, we're comfortable, and we're confident that this personality in Sham, Sayyidah Zainab. The other is the grave that is well known there as the grave of Ruqayya. Some come to the conclusion and they say that no, this Ruqayya is Ruqayya bint Ali, that it's one of the daughters of Imam Ali who was buried there. However, for us, there is no doubt, and there is many conversations from our ulama and many experiences from the ulama that say no, that this one, if you wish to name her Ruqayya, but this is the youngest daughter of Imam Hussain, who we know passed away in the prisons of Sham. And that's the tariq that we commemorate, and that's what we come and we gather. Before we even get into the length of our conversation, one of the important points to note is that even if we had some doubt, right? We had some doubt that when I go to this grave, the personality whose wasila I'm asking by associating with this grave, is this the person that I have in my mind? Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Salawat ala Muhammad wa ali. The doubt of whether or not this personality who I'm associating with, this personality who I'm asking for the shifa'ah from, the wasila that I'm connecting with, maybe let's say there's a doubt in my mind or there's a doubt in the mind of society if I've come to the right place. The question that comes into place is, does that personality need me to be there to get their shifa'ah? If I want the shifa'ah of Imam Hussain, does Imam Hussain need me to be next to his grave? No. I go to that place to increase my connection to that personality. That personality's shifa is not limited to one location. Rather, it's for me to build a connection. So if on earth I find a location or a place that increases my ability to connect with a personality, do they need me to be there or I need to be there? I need to be there. This alam, does Hazrat Abbas need this alam from me? No. I use the alam as a wasila to improve my connection to Hazrat Abbas. In the same context, if they should create a doubt and say that we don't know, maybe this was this person or someone else, Baba, it has nothing to do with you. It has to do with me and my connection to the personality whose wasila I want to ask, whose shifa I am looking for. So therefore, we have no problem with the idea that maybe history has some question about these personalities. I don't have a question. I know that when I go to this grave and I want to speak to this personality or ask for the shifa of this personality, that they have the ability to give me that shifa. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali. The conversation today, when we talk about the idea of raising our children, before we get to the question that we want to answer, we have to acknowledge that a human being is a composite of two different entities in a single body. One is this physical form. This is this body. And Allah says when it comes to the physical body, you can learn about how I created it. And He tells you Himself, this was a ball of cells, or this was a seed, nutfa, min nutfa, it became into a ball of cells. From the ball of cells, I made it into different organs. I spread it over bones. I put skin over it. I created a physical form. When Allah tells you about the creation and the khalq of an item, Allah says, look at my makhluk and see my signs. You can't see Allah. So you want to learn about Allah, look at His creation and learn about what Allah is and who Allah is. He says, look at my creation and learn about me. And this becomes the physical form. The physical form that we see in front of us, the body we see in front of us, we can study it, we can learn all about it, how it's made, where it comes from, what happens to it when it dies. This is all permissible for us to know about. But a human being is not simply a physical body. He's a spirit as well too. وَيَسْأَلُونَكَ عَنِ الرُّوحِ قُلِ الرُّوحِ مِنْ أَمْرِ رَبِّي وَمَا أُوتِيتُم مِنَ الْعِلْمِ إِلَّا قَلِيلًا. The spirit is something that attaches to the human body. And this spirit, when they ask, Allah says, and they ask you about the spirit, say that the spirit is from the command of Allah and we have not given you knowledge about it except for a little bit. For a human being to exist, he has these two states. He has a physical presence, a body, and he has a spirit. When the two come together, we say that this is a human being. This is an insan. When the two separate, immediately we stop referring to this as a person. Start saying the body. We start saying the jasad. We start saying the deceased. We say the personality is gone. That personality is the combination of this spirit and this body. And the same way that Allah says that the spirit is from my command and I did not give you any knowledge about this except for a little bit, except for what we choose to know. Allah has reserved the creation of the spirit, the forming of the spirit, the actions of the spirit to His command as His instruction. We can't trace and look at the human body and say, buddy, yes, here is the spirit in my pinky. Here is the spirit in my arm. Here is the spirit in my leg. And that when I separate it, I can't say, yes, that part of my spirit has been cut off and this part of my spirit has retained. The spirit is something that's attached to the human being, and as long as he's alive, that spirit interacts with the human body. The responsibility of every human being is the same way that we take care of our body and we ensure that the health is good. We get our physicals, we get our examinations, we take care of our diet, we do our exercise. We do all of these aspects of the human body. The same way we have an obligation to pay attention to the health and the taking care of the spirit. When we put these two together, then we come in contact with a complete human being. We are then aware of a complete human being and we operate as a complete human being. The society we live in, the culture we live in as a material culture, focuses greatly on the body. Very well aware. I want to make sure that the watches I wear are nice. The shoes I wear are good. The clothes I wear are the best. The food that I eat is very nice. That the house that I live in is very good. But then you turn and you ask the society, then how do I take care of my spirit? And the society is silent. There's no instruction. There's no proper guidance for this from society to tell us how to take care of the spirit. Our obligations as the followers of Islam and Muslimin is that when we raise our children, we become conscientious of both sides of this conversation. We pay attention not only to the body. Our society has prepared us very well to take care of our bodies. We have all of the information we need to take care of our body and to make sure we have the best in medical equipment, we have the best in research and sciences, we have the best in writing that tells us what are the best diets, what are the best exercises, what are the foods to stay away from. All of this is great. The problem is that if I don't educate my children about their spirit and how to treat their spirit, that tomorrow I will be raising an incomplete human being. I'll be raising a human being who is only aware of the body and has no understanding of his spiritual presence and awareness. I will be raising someone who is incomplete when it comes to being able to function as an adult in society. Our goal is to raise complete children, to raise children who are aware of both body and spirit. The process, for example, and we see the interaction between the spirit and the body many times. Are you okay? We're going to give an example. Are you right? Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. The spirit and the body are constantly interacting with each other. There are times, for example, when I go through a physical condition and it has a spiritual manifestation. For example, I may have a physical illness for which I need antibiotics, or I need a treatment, or I need, for example, some kind of medical process or procedure that goes on because my physical body has an illness. The impact of that physical action sometimes comes on me spiritually. How? I go through a process of treatment, and what happens is suddenly I feel sad. I feel down. I don't feel like interacting with people. We say that the physical sickness interacted with the spiritual self. The same way the other is true. There are certain conditions which are spiritual conditions, but they have a physical manifestation. For example, fear. Fear, when it manifests in a human being, it's very, very different things. Sometimes, for example, when they're scared, people become silent. Other people, when they become scared, they begin to speak. Some people, when they are afraid, they shake. Some people, when they are afraid, they become incredibly silent. Their colors change. And we see different manifestations. Why is it that fear manifests itself differently amongst all people in all society? It's because fear is a spiritual condition. And the manifestation then therefore can be different in the body in different ways, and I can see it in different ways present within the body. I see the symptoms of the condition in the body, but the maraz, the sickness, is within the soul. And that tells me that these two are interacting with each other and they have a balance within each other. Our goal is to keep that balance active, and we do that by the utilization of the tools of Islam to ensure that my spirit is healthy, the same way I use the tools of my environment to ensure that my body is healthy. When we start working on these two aspects, our goal in our children becomes, how do we now turn around and correct the spiritual development of our children? Because the spiritual development of our children is something that isn't taught to us by our society. We have to refer to our religion to bring that forward and to understand it. When we want to look at the spiritual development of our children, some of it is the aspect of having the conversation about the wajibat that are mandatory for a mu'min to perform. For example, sometimes a parent says, my child, I'll tell them about prayer. When they get older, they can pray if they want to. I'll tell them about God. If they want to follow God, they can follow when they're older. The reality is that we want to teach our children about Allah and prayer the same way we teach our child about brushing their teeth. A child who is very young doesn't understand the importance of brushing his teeth. You tell him to brush his teeth, and I don't feel like it. I don't want to. Why? He doesn't understand the consequence of the action. If I don't brush my teeth, what's the negative consequence that will happen to me? So we say, no, you have to do this. And as you grow, we teach you the importance of brushing your teeth and the value behind. The same way a child who's very small may not understand the value of salat. We have to establish salat in his character from the beginning so that as he grows, he receives the benefit of that prayer. What is the benefit of that prayer? Let's take a look at an example. A personality comes to our Holy Prophet Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. He says, Ya Rasulullah, I have a friend, or I have a son, and he performs many misdeeds. He misbehaves very inappropriately. How shall I fix him? And Rasulullah asks him, does he pray? He says, yes, Rasulullah, he prays. He says, then certainly that prayer will have an impact on fixing his character as he continues to pray. Keep him attached to prayer. We see the examples from our Imam alayhimus salam. who described, can you imagine a person who bathes in a stream 5 times a day that he should remain dirty? I say, Ya Rasulullah, no, it's not possible. If someone bathes 5 times a day, if you shower 5 times a day, where would there be time for dirt to remain on you? Yeah, I must say that's the example of salah. Attach yourself to prayer and it will keep you clean from the sins and the mistakes that you make. That the spiritual development of our children is important. We have to pay attention to it. One of the aspects of spiritual purity and development that we have that's very important for us is the attachment to this majlis of Imam al-Hussain alayhi salam. Staying attached to this is a part of the spiritual health that we need to be able to survive in this society. Why? And this is where we'll get into our conversation. Why did the waqi' of Karbala have to happen? And as we answer this, we'll understand that why it's important for our children to stay attached to this concept of this event of Karbala and attach them to the aza of Imam al-Hussain and receive the benefits of the aza of Imam al-Hussain. And we'll break this into two sections. One is the physical benefit, the physical impact of the necessity in history for the waqi' of Karbala to exist. And two, what is the spiritual benefit of the waqi' of Karbala to exist? صلوا على محمد وآل محمد. When we look at, for example, the historical context of why Karbala had to happen, we have to take a look at the concept of history and how Islamic history is established to lay out the authority of the Khilafah. We take a look and we see that our Prophet was an example of both governmental rulership and spiritual rulership. That our Nabi was someone whom Allah selected and raised above all others and gave him the example that both this Prophet was the spiritual guide. He taught us what's halal. He taught us what's haram. He taught us how to pray. He taught us the Quran. He taught us all of these aspects of individual responsibility. And in the same instance, this Prophet was the example who established a government on this earth and taught that Islam, when it becomes a system of governance and authority, how it interacts with society and people. How is it that we deal with people in the environment that we live in? So it followed that when our Holy Prophet left this world, that whoever inherited the position of governance also inherited the position of spiritual leadership. Because the Prophet embodied both. The concept was that both of these positions would be carried in one, which is why when the time for the appointment and successorship was established, it became necessary that the one who takes this role of leadership in the system of Islam and governance embodies all of the characteristics of Rasulullah. Not sufficient enough would be the idea that a system of governance would be required from this personality, but that we look to this personality to learn what is it that Allah demands from me as well too. Which is why the appointment of the successorship of the Muslimin was something that became a part of the law of Islam. Ya ayyuha rasul, balligh ma unzila ilayka min rabbik. That, O Prophet, announce what has been sent down to you. And if you don't announce, then it's as if you did not recite the message at all. And upon the completion that we saw on the day of Ghadir, that the completion of the enunciation of the successor of the Prophet, al-yawma akmaltu lakum dinukum, وَأَتْمَمْتُ عَلَيْكُمْ نِعْمَتِي وَرَضِيتُ لَكُمْ إِسْلَامَ دِينًا. That this became a part of the religion, that the successorship of Islam retains with the personality who represents both the political authority and the spiritual authority. Unfortunately, what happened, and the Muslimin separated the spiritual authority and the governmental authority and took away the leadership that Allah appointed and gave it to someone else. When they gave it to someone else, they also gave him both the governmental authority and the spiritual authority. And we saw that the Khulafa now began and developed the ability to bring changes within the religion of Islam. For example, you want an example? Do we need an example? Yes? Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. We saw that when we recite adhan, we recite hayya ala salah, hayya al falah, hayya ala. The second Khalifa came and said, I don't want hayya ala khair al-amal to be salah. So I want hayya ala khair al-amal, come to the best of deeds, to be jihad. Take it out from adhan. So adhan shifted. We saw a difference develop, that he says, this is my opinion. I want this hayya ala khair al-amal, the best of deeds, to be jihad, not to be salat. So take it out of adhan. So it was taken out of adhan. We saw that the Khulafa came and they brought changes within the religion of Islam and they presented it that this is my opinion. That was the opinion of the Prophet, this is my opinion. Another example that we saw. Yes? Example? Good. Muawiyah, mal'oon. He developed the practice of the cursing of Imam Ali alayhi salam. They said at one point in time that over 70,000 pulpits within the empire of Islam would begin their discussions by the cursing of Ali ibn Abi Talib. And he established it as his practice, and he says, this is my sunnah. And then he said, but I have a problem. When people come for Eid prayers, because even the Bedouin comes for Eid prayers, even the one who doesn't come at any other time of year comes for Eid prayers, and we're not talking about anyone specific, but he made the argument, everybody comes for Eid prayers. He says, I have a problem. In Eid prayers, we do the salat first and the khutbah second. He says, but those who don't come regularly, once they pray, they'll leave. He says, then they'll never hear the cursing of Ali ibn Abi Talib. So he says, I want you to do something for Eid salat, flip it. Put the khutbah first, put Eid prayer second, so that everybody hears the cursing of Ali ibn Abi Talib. And he changed the religion of Islam. He brought tabdeel into the religion of Islam. And even till today, when you go and you join our Ahl Sunnah brothers for Eid namaz, they have the khutbah first and the prayers afterwards. Versus us, we do the prayers first and the khutbah second. The Khalifa, because of his role as both a religious authority and a governmental authority, is somebody who developed the ability to change and manipulate the religion of Islam, and his seerah became tied, his image, his biography became tied to the biography of Islam. And people in society turned and said, if the Khalifa did it, then it's okay for us. And then Muawiyah died. And he tried to pass the Khilafah to his son. When this happened, the personality of Yazid ibn Muawiyah Mal'un was such that it was such a derogatory character that he never hid the sin that he committed. He never hid the characteristics that he had. He never denied the sins and the evil actions that he did. And these were manifold. For example, the bare minimum of which is what he accomplished in his 3 years as what he was the Khalifa. The first year, he kills the grandson of the Holy Prophet. The second year, in the Waqiat al-Harra, he sacks the city of Medina. And in the third year, he actually physically attacks the Kaaba. 3 years he was Khalifa. In 3 years, he destroyed everything that was sanctified within the religion of Islam. When he begins and wants to take the position of Khilafat, he says, I need the bay'ah of some personalities, amongst whom we know was the bay'ah of Imam al-Hussain. And Imam al-Hussain replies that one such as me does not do bay'ah of one such as him. We come from the purified household of Ahlul Bayt and of Nabuwat, and he comes from the illegitimate household of we don't know what he does. He is the drinker of alcohol. He is the giver of bribery. He is the usurer. He does all of these sins that are haram for us, yet we don't do them. The significance of the event of Karbala and why Karbala had to happen was that in society, since the example of the Khalifa was tied between physical rulership and spiritual rulership, the people had to understand that this Khilafat may be the king over you, but this Khalifa does not have the right to tell you how to interact with Allah. The two had to be separated. The example that was created in the eyes of people had to be clear so that there would be no mistaking that the Khalifa had some kind of spiritual authority or instruction over them. You see, up until the time of Imam Hussain, someone could say that we are the followers and lovers of Ahlul Bayt. Yes, but this Khalifa tells us to sit like this, to pray like this, to eat like this, so we follow him and we listen to him, but we love the Ahlul Bayt. Many people were in this convoluted position that they did not know what's the authority of the Imam and what's the authority of the Khalifa. And had this Khalifa received the authority of the time as both the spiritual and the physical leader, he would have brought all of his innovations and his evil deeds would have been acceptable in the religion of Islam. They would have said, yes, the Khalifa drinks, na'uz billah. And the Khalifa is our religious authority, so therefore, we can follow the sunnah of the Khalifa. We can follow the example of the Khalifa. And the religion of Islam would have brought changes into it that separated them from the initial message of Islam, and the religion of Islam would have been martyred in this way. This is why Imam Hussain, he says, I did not leave my house for power. I did not leave my house for wealth. I left my house to save the religion of my grandfather, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. When we say Imam Hussain saved the religion of Islam, We say that he, in the eyes of everyone, created an example that separated the spiritual authority from the position of khilafat. He separated the religious authority from the position of khilafat and revealed to the people, this is nothing more than a tyrant who is thirsty for blood and power. Why? Because the example was presented was perfect. There was no way that one could say that Hussein ibn Ali left his house in the interest of seeking power or authority. He did not come with an army. He did not defend with his soldiers. He did not fight with strategy to win the khilafah. He fought with the simplicity that one who is evil does not deserve to take the bay'ah from one who is like me. One who behaves like him has no right to have the authority over me. When he made this statement, hayhat min al-dhilla, we are far from disgrace. That we are not the people who submit ourselves freely to be disgraced and to be put under the authority of an evil human being. Imam taught that if you are to be an authority in religion, you need to be an authority in character. If you are to be an authority in religion, you are to be an authority in piety. If you are to be the authority in religion, you have to be the one who is fearful of Allah, not fearful of people. This example was made clear by the sacrifice of Imam Hussein, because even when historians looked at it, whether you were a Muslim or non-Muslim, they said, we don't know why, if Hussein was after this world, he brought his women and children with him. We don't know why, if Hussein was interested in power, did he not fight with better strategy than this. That is certainly that Hussein ibn Ali came to fight in this war to protect and preserve the religion of Islam and to separate the example of khilafat from a religious authority. And we see the consequence of this. Look at every khalifa thereafter. We don't see religious edicts from them. We see that they in their own courts used to sit counselors, individuals of religious authority, to give them guidance on religion, as opposed to them saying that, let me tell you what the religion of Islam has to say. We saw the success of the war of Imam Hussein. That this Khalifa, from this moment forward, lost his ability to influence the religion of Islam. He needed to bring in jurists, he needed to bring in judges, he needed to bring in clerics to tell him what the religion of Islam says, rather than him saying, let me tell you what Islam says. This is the success of Imam Hussein in Tariq, and we saw this throughout history. Throughout history we have examples. When we look at the example, for example, of our Imam Muhammad ibn Ali al-Jawad alayhi salam. Who reestablishes the authority and the divine position of imamat in the minds of people. How? You see, up until his father, Imam Rada, they said that each of these imams spent some time in the lap of his father. That maybe the knowledge that they have is something that their father taught them, and therefore that these people are knowledgeable about Islam because the lineages passes from one to the other, and they educate their children, and then when they grow up they make them imam and they send them into society. But Imam al-Jawad was at the tender age of 8 when he accepted the position of imam. And who has the ability to teach a child of 8 all of the knowledge of the religion of Islam? And we saw this proof that when he sat in the court and he was given the position of imam, and then the court and the Khalifa wanted to challenge, or they challenged the imam, they sat the judge in front of him and they said, you want to see that this personality is divinely guided, this 8-year-old is divinely guided? Bring the best of judges against him and see what happens between the two of them. So they brought the judge. He sat in front. He saw the child sit in front of him. He said, shall I ask you or will you ask me? Imam al-Jawad, 8. Then he says, go ahead and ask me what you want to ask me. He says, then tell me, what is the punishment of one who kills an animal in the state of ihram? And Imam says, your question is unclear. Look at the audacity, right? The personality says, what do you mean my question is unclear? What's the matter, child? Is it too difficult? No, Imam says, no. You didn't explain, was he inside the haram of Makkah or outside of the haram of Makkah? Was his ihram for wajib hajj or mustahab hajj? Was the animal something that can be hunted or something that can't be hunted? Was it something that crawled on its stomach, walked on 4 legs, walked on 2 legs, flew in the air? You didn't make all of these points clear that I could tell you what the answer to your question is. significance of the point is that the Imam was demonstrating the knowledge that we possess. Don't assume that it's something we got from books. Rather, our knowledge and our position of authority is something that is divinely appointed for us. We don't go chasing after this authority. Rather, Allah blesses us with the authority over you and gives us the resources to answer your questions and needs. The Imam needed to establish the example in society that, and think about it, who was the one questioning? It wasn't the Khalifa. It was the judge of the time. The Khalifa had already acknowledged that I have no role in the power and authority of Allah, that this is outside of my hands. But then even the judges and the Hakim of the time needed to know where the authority of Allah lies, and it doesn't lie in their hands. The Ahlul Bayt established this example, and the need for it was established initially from the example of Karbala. That in history we had to separate the Khilafat so that people could not be beguiled, and these Khalifas and their machinations of power could not influence and affect and attack the religion of Islam and try to destroy the religion of Islam that Rasulullah left, and that people would be forced to go to true sources of knowledge. This is one aspect of why Karbala had to happen. That within Karbala, a complete and pure example had to be established of truth and falsehood, so that people in the future would not be confused which one was correct, which one should we follow, which one was the one who was true, and which one was on the correct authority. It had to be made very clear so that society would not be confused by it. Still with me? Move on to the second section. Second part of our discussion. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. The spiritual need for the event of Karbala. There's a statement of our Prophet where he says, Inna liqatl al-Hussain fi qulub al-mu'minin hararatun la tabrud abada. That certainly for the killing of my son Hussein, in the hearts of mu'mineen is a fire that is never cooled. You see, every Nabi that came, every authority of Allah that came on this earth, presented to the society various miracles and proofs of his authority. So that when a society wanted to learn about what is the correct path, the Nabi would bring about such a miracle or such an event that people said that it's impossible for a human being to perform such an action, and that certainly this must have a divine hand behind it. Whether you take a look at, for example, Yad al-Bayda of Nabi Musa, the separation of the sea of Nabi Musa, the miracles of Nabi Musa, the bringing back the dead to life of Nabi Isa, the example of Ibrahim being thrown in the fire, the ship of Nabi Nuh, the swallowing of the whale of Yunus, the separation of Yusuf, the weeping of Yaqub and the returning of his sight, the teaching of Yusuf to society. All of these, when we look at them in history, we say that the people of the time had before them an example that if they doubted the reality of what the Nabi was bringing, Allah gave such a proof that the doubt was removed and clarity of where haqq is was clear to them. Every Nabi was given this opportunity that if you will come to a people and you will preach to them, we will give you an authority to establish that authority in front of the people so that haqq and batil are clear, there's no doubt about it. And that if I didn't understand all of the things the Nabi taught me, I knew that at least this Nabi, what he taught me was correct. There's nothing in this that I can say he came with himself, because of the proofs that he brings me are divine. And such we saw our holy Prophet Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam brought many miracles with him. Many miracles he brought with him. And the people of the time, they witnessed these miracles and they acknowledged the authority of the Prophet. Whether it was when we read, for example, in Hadith Kisa, Inni ashammu indaki ra'ihatan tayyibah, that when the family of Ali Muhammad would come to the house and they would come to visit Sayyidah Zahra, when they came home, they said, "Oh mother, we smell with you a smell that is a wonderful smell that smells like the scent of our grandfather, the Prophet." One of the miracles of Nabuwat was that wherever our holy Prophet went, he left a scent, a sweet scent that was unlike anything else that would linger in the place of the ziyarat of Rasulullah for up to 3 days after he left, to show that Nabuwat had been here. There were other examples that the light of the face of Rasulullah, that the saliva from his mouth could fill a well with water, that he could feed an army with a small amount of food, that he could travel far distances into Mi'raj and come back and give people news and information. Many miracles. But the two greatest miracles and two greatest things our Prophet left behind, the Quran, Ahlul Bayt. And this Ahlul Bayt became the dalil of the miracle of Nabuwwat that was given to our Holy Prophet. You see, sometimes we sit and we talk about the character of Ahlul Bayt, the teaching of Ahlul Bayt, the miraculous personality of Ahlul Bayt, the behavior of Ahlul Bayt. And some people, sometimes they look at us and they say that you people are exaggerators. You raise these personalities of Ahlul Bayt, na'uzubillah, over the status of Rasulullah. Shall I give you an example? Okay, I'll give you. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ala Sallu ala Muhammad wa in Ziyarat-e-Nahiya that is given to us by our Imam of our time, he says, "Oh Hussein, you have attained certain statuses with Allah that no one attained before you. That you attain the status that the dua under your qubbah is accepted. That all of the Imams came from your lineage for the sacrifice that you made. Oh Hussein, Allah put a cure in the dirt of your grave, Ya Hussein, for what you sacrificed for Islam." And people sometimes they come and they say, "Oh, see, you've raised the Imam Hussein na'uzubillah above the status of Rasulullah. He's gotten sick." Why? Because you see, to eat dirt for a human being is haram. We are made of clay. For us to eat from clay is haram. But look, the grave of Imam Hussein is not only that it's permissible to eat from it, it has shifa in it as well too. But whatever sickness you have, it has a cure for you. People, they see this and they say, not only did you take something that was haram and make it permissible, you made it mustahab, you made it a cure, you made it shifa, there you go, you've gone crazy. The answer to this is very clearly that they didn't understand that Hussein received shifa in the dirt of his grave because of his connection to Rasulullah, not in spite of his connection to Rasulullah. That Imam Hussein, if he has earned these honors, it's not to raise him above Rasulullah, but it is a reflection that this is the grandson of Rasulullah who earns these honors. See, a few weeks ago there was a video that was put out from Pakistan of a young man who made a mistake and who presented a comment and an argument, and we'll use this as an example. Because we have to correct the ideology as well too. We have to correct this ideology in our youth and in our communities. He comes forward and he says, and this is his mistake and we'll correct it, so we won't finish it here. He comes forward and he makes a statement, he says, "You tell me who's greater." Some of you have heard this, I'm sure, some of you have not, and we'll correct it tonight. He comes forward and he says, "Some of you, tell me who's greater. Rasulullah in the middle of the day called out and said, 'Come, come,' and no one came. And Hussein in the middle of the night said, 'Leave, leave,' and no one left. And who is greater then?" See, what he made a mistake was, he said that the idea was that Imam Hussein, na'uzubillah, in his statement, is greater because Imam Hussein told his companions on the night of Ashura, "Leave," no one would leave. And Rasulullah called people during the daytime and said, "Come to the religion of Islam," and no one came. He was wrong in this. See, he misunderstood the process and the relationship between these personalities. That when Hussein ibn Ali in the middle of the night says, "Leave, leave," and no one leaves, this is the glorification of the beauty of the work that Rasulullah put into the religion of Islam. This is Rasulullah who taught, "My Ahlul Bayt have such a status. My children, because of their affiliation to me, are so high that if my child should tell you to leave and you love me, you don't leave my child. They may cut you to pieces, but when Hussein, my grandson, says, 'Stay with me,' or needs you, you don't leave him." That when Hussein ibn Ali in the middle of the night says, "Leave," and no one leaves, it's not the beautification of Imam Hussein. It's the value of the message of Rasulullah, and those who understood it understood the position of Hussein ibn Ali. It's the message of Rasulullah that was successful. That Rasulullah's glory is that he lived in a time when he would call and no one would come. But he left such a message amongst the people that the people who understood his message, that even when their lives were in danger, would not leave the message of Islam. They would sooner sacrifice themselves than leave the side of Ahlul Bayt. It's the glory of Rasulullah that's being taught to us through this action. That it's the glory and greatness of the Prophet, that how hard he worked to leave behind, that even so many examples would come of the true message and followers of Islam. That's what we have to understand, and that's why this message exists for our spirituality. that we, in the absence of being able to see the Imam of our time, we, in the absence of being able to interact with the Hujjah and the authority of Allah on this earth, are in need of a miracle that exists till today, that when we get lost in dunya, when we are unsure of reality, we can identify clearly what is haqq and what is the path of Allah and what is batil and everything else. This spiritual example of Karbala is that miracle that lives on even after it's complete, that should you question the event of Karbala, you will never have a doubt on which side is haqq and which side is batil. That in this day and age when I'm confused, I don't know, who should I follow? Who's telling me the truth? Who is the one who is the honest person, who is my well-wisher and trying to help me? There is but one litmus question that you need to ask. Were you with the people of Hussein or were you against the people of Hussein? And based upon that answer, I can immediately tell who is telling me the truth and what his initial intention is. Even till today, our ulama, if they find themselves in a discussion with someone who presents an ideology, they say, do you believe in the Khilafat of Yazid ibn Muawiyah Mal'un? And if the personality says yes, you know immediately that this person is not your well-wisher. Any discussion with him is purely an argument, because he could not see where haqq was and where batil was. He could not see that there's no way for this batil individual to have authority over me in any sense when a personality like Hussein ibn Ali is victimized and oppressed by this personality. The waqi'ah of Karbala became the litmus test from that day until the day of judgment, that if you want to know where haqq is, look at the side of Hussein ibn Ali. You want to know where batil is, look at who stands against Hussein ibn Ali. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. Hence, the event of Karbala became necessary for us, so that in our time where we don't have access, the Hujjah isn't in front of us who can perform a miracle for us. We have a miracle we tie to. The other side of this miracle is through the weeping of Hussein ibn Ali. That the crying over Imam Hussein, the attachment to Imam Hussein, is within itself a miracle. When our Prophet says that in the hearts of the mu'mineen there is a fire for Hussein that never goes out, the purpose of that to say is that you people, you get lost in this world. And sometimes you get distracted by dunya. You get distracted by the desires of this world. But that true love for Hussein ibn Ali, that when you hear his masa'ib and the masa'ib of his family, they bring you out of this world and the haze of this world, because the example of Hussein is pure in its love for the sake of Allah. That Hussein ibn Ali preferred nothing over Allah. And when you hear of his example and how he was willing to sacrifice for his Lord, it takes you away from the haze of dunya and clarifies your priorities in its life. Have you ever wondered? 12 days, 2 months, every year you sit and you hear the same story and you cry. This isn't a natural event. This is a miracle within itself that reattaches you to the religion of Allah. That Allah said that when my mu'min, when my believer gets lost in this world, let me create an example that will bring him back to haqq. Which is why we can't help but feel overwhelmed by the emotion that there was someone who was loved by the beloved of Allah. Rasulullah was Habibullah, the beloved of Allah. And he loved the personality so much. And the people, they killed that personality in a way that no man deserves to be killed. Remember how Imam Zainul Abidin would explain? He would be in the markets of Medina. When he would see a sheep about to be slaughtered, he would say, did you give this sheep water? And I would say, yes, your grandfather Rasulullah taught us, give a sheep water 3 times before you slaughter that sheep. Imam Zainul Abidin would turn to Karbala, Baba, the sheep are treated better than you. That weeping that comes to your heart of how this innocent man was killed is the revolution in your heart that separates you from the dunya and brings you back to remembering and wanting to be closer to Allah. That those tears are so important. Imam Sadiq used to say, even if you fake your tears, fake cry them, they will bring you back to haqq. Even if you have to force yourself to cry. Force yourself to cry, because those tears will be a revolution in your heart and they will bring you back to Hussein ibn Ali. And some people, maybe they have a hard time, that they say that Hussein ibn Ali was a grown man, he lived his life, He chose to sacrifice in the way of Islam. He chose to be the one who gave away. So we may say that, okay, maybe we don't cry over Hussein ibn Ali. But there are two examples. One is, who raises the head of a 6-month child on a spear? That a grown man may choose, that he chooses to sacrifice for Allah, but who kills a 6-month-old child? And how did they kill this 6-month-old child? They said, we shot it with an arrow in such a way that this child flapped its arms like a bird in the hands of its father. कभी सोचा हुसैन ने तसल्ली कैसे दी? असगर बेटा लहजा बस इंतजार करो. The other example, that no matter who you are as a person, you can't imagine the difficulty that befalls them, is the sister of this child. Before we finish the Masa'ib here, listen to the words of Khuli himself. Khuli says, the day of Ashura, after the Shahadat, I returned to my tent. When I returned to my tent, I heard that they had begun to loot the tents of Hussein ibn Ali. I realized an army this big and tents so few, they had probably taken everything that was there. So I ran to the tents that I should have a share in the looting as well too. See, an army of over 10,000, in some narrations 30,000, and an army of Hussein of less than 200. What will 30,000 take from 200? Khuli says, I ran to the tent. He says, when I reached there, there was not much left to take. But I was anxious that I should have a share in the wealth that was there left to take. So they said, Khuli, what did you do? He says, the first thing I saw, a young man who was lying on a bed alone. There was nothing left around him. So I stole the bed from under the man. The second they said, Khuli, then what did you do? He says, all of the chadar had been stolen except for one, where this woman was wearing a red chadar on her head, yet no one had dared to take her chadar yet. They said, who was this? They said, this was Zainab bint Ali. Her personality was such that the entire army was afraid of Zainab. No one dared to come near her. But he says, I was in a hurry, and everything had been taken, and this was all that left, so I went to steal her chadar. Two instances, रोने आए आज रोएंगे हम. किसी ने पूछा, someone asked, चादर लाल क्यों थी? Why was the chadar red? They said, you don't understand. When this Zainab came to the body of Akbar, she attached herself to the bloody chest of Akbar, and the blood filled her chadar. There are other narrations that are too painful. They said that Khuli was a young man, was a soldier. He tried to steal the chadar. The chadar would not come. Zainab is not a normal personality. They said that Khuli says, I picked up a stone. I threw the stone. I stole the chadar. He said, Khuli, then what did you do? He says, I found one small child in the field of Karbala who still had earrings in her ears, and no one had taken them. Before someone else could come, I came and I pulled them. They said, Khuli, why did you pull them? He said, so no one would take them before me. I wanted to ensure they were mine. They said, then what happened? Khuli says, this small child turned to me. She said, oh Sheikh, we are of the Banu Hashim. If you would have asked me, I would have given them to you. When you see the masa'ib of this little girl, that you understand that nobility was disrupted and nobility was destroyed in this example. This child wept, they say, from this moment until the moment of her death. That Zainab did the best that she could to protect her, and that Zainab had been given the responsibility to protect her. She was the amanat of Hussein. Zainab is Sharikat al-Hussain. She must take care of her. Before we finish, we'll mention. They said on the way to Sham, at one point in time, the head of Hussein ibn Ali either fell from the spear or refused to move anymore. They said we did what we could to move Hussein's head, but he would not move. So they went to the Bimari Karbala, and they said, your father's head refuses to move. Go and find out why your father's head won't move. Imam Zainul Abidin returns, he says, there was a small child with our kafila, and she has fallen, and until she is returned, my father will not move. There are two instances where Sayyidah Zainab says to the Mal'oon, Aage na bharna. Don't come forward. The first is on the 11th of Muharram, when the soldiers surrounded the women, and Zainab says, you've killed our men, what do you want from us now? They said, we've come to mount you on the camel. Zainab says, Abbas ke baad koi hame haath lagaye. After Abbas, is there someone amongst you who will approach us? We will mount the women ourselves, we don't need you, get away from us. The second time was when Imam Zainul Abidin said, a small child has been lost. The soldiers of Yazid moved forward to find the child. Sayyidah Zainab threw herself from the camel. Don't touch my niece. I am the caretaker of the remainder of my brother. I will find her. She says, Sajjad, where do I go in the field? Where do I turn? He says, Amma Zainab, look at the eyes of Baba. He will tell you where to go. Zainab looks at the face of Abu Abdullah. The eyes of Imam Hussain turn in a direction. Sayyidah Zainab goes in that direction. Said Zainab finds the child in the lap of a woman. She sits in front of this woman. She says, oh woman, no one has shown us kindness since our Hussein has been lost. We are the noble house of Banu Hashim. We never take favor someone without returning it. But today Zainab is poor. Why don't you tell me your name? My mother Zahra will intercede for you. That woman caressing this small child of Hussein ibn Ali raises her veil. Zainab, your mother Zahra never left you. I am here with you in whatever you go through. This child was the one who was tortured so much, this child. Imam Zainul Abidin says that they would keep the women and children out under the sun as they would march us. Even when they would give us break, there was no relief for these children. He says, Ruqayya or Sakina, as you wish to call it, would be uncomfortable under the sun and weep. So Zainul Abidin says, I would stand over her and make a shadow for my sister from the heat of the sun. Ya Imam kis mushkilon mein zinda rakha tha. Sakina का कहते हैं कि जिंदान में भी बाबा के इंतजार में बैठी रहती, कभी मुसल्ला पे छाती, बाबा आएंगे नमाज पढ़ेंगे, बाबा नहीं आते, मुश्किलें पड़ती हैं, बाबा नहीं आते, मुश्किलों में बच्ची सोई, ख्वाब में देखा बाबा आए, बाबा आप छोड़ के क्यों चले गए? उन्होंने गोशवारे छीने, उन्होंने तमाचे मारे, बाबा रोने नहीं देते। सकीना मैं छोड़ के नहीं गया, मैं पास ही हूँ। सकीना नींद से उठी, बाबा कहाँ है? बाबा कहाँ है? कहा कि बाबा नहीं है। कहती है नहीं, मैंने बाबा को ख्वाब में देखा, बाबा पास है, बाबा से अलहदा ना करे। मैंने बहुत बर्दाश्त किया, बहुत शिकायत है बाबा को सुनाने की। कहा बेटा सकीना पता कैसे है कि बाबा पास है? सकीना कहती है बाबा को ख्वाब में देखे, बाबा ने कहा वो मेरे पास है, बाबा झूठ नहीं बोलते, बाबा को मुझे लौटा दे, मैं बाबा के पास जाना चाहती। बीबियों ने सुना था कि इमाम हुसैन पास है, रोना शुरू हो गया। एक तरफ से बीबियों की आवाज बुलंद होती, आगे से सकीना और जोर से रोती, आवाज बुलंद हुई, सकीना और रोई। आखिर में मलऊन ने कहा रोते क्यों है? कहा एक बच्ची है वो कहती है कि बाबा पास है, بابا کے پاس جانا ہے. کہا کہ اسے چپ کرو, بابا کو لوٹا دو. کہا کہ سر حسین کو لوٹا دو. تھیلی میں تیار کر کے کپڑا اوپر ڈال کے بچی کے پاس لے گئی. بچی نہ سوئی ٹھیک طرح سے, نہ کھانا کھایا ٹھیک طرح سے, نہ پیاس بوجھی پی ٹھیک طرح سے. زندان میں بیٹھی روتی روتی ملعون لاتا ہے, پیالی سامنے لا کے رکھتا ہے. بچی کہتی ہے اس میں کھانا ہوئے گا, مجھے کھانا نہیں چاہیے, مجھے بابا چاہیے. ملعون نے کہا کپڑا تو اٹھا کے دیکھو. کپڑا بلند ہوا, 4 سال کی بچی نے دیکھا بابا آپ میرے پاس آ گئے. بابا آپ کی رگیں کس نے کاٹی؟ آپ کی داڑھی کو آپ کے خون سے لال کس نے کیا؟ من ایتمنی فی صغر سنی, مجھے چھوٹی عمر میں یتیم کس نے بنایا؟ روتی روتی بچی نے بابا کے ہونٹ اپنے ہونٹ سے چھوڑے. روتی روتی بچی چپ ہو گئی. بھیا سجاد نے دیکھا, سکینہ اٹھو. زینب نے دیکھا, سکینہ اٹھو. ماں نے دیکھا, سکینہ اٹھو. مصائب ختم نہیں ہوتے ادھر. پانی خود نہ تھا, باہر سے بلایا گیا خواتین کو جو غسل دیتی. خواتین آئیں غسل دینے, دیکھا کہ چھوٹی بچی کی لاش ہے. کہا ایسے غسل دینا, کہتے ہم اس کو غسل نہیں دیں گے. کہا کیوں نہیں دیں گے؟ کہا کہ اس کی جسم میں, اس کی جلد میں ایک مرض پیدا ہو گیا جس کی وجہ سے غسل نہیں دیتے. روتے روتے بھیا سجاد نے کہا یہ جو ہے یہ مرض نہیں ہے, بچی کو آگ جب لگائی تھی بچی کے دامن میں جب آگ لگی, کپڑا جلا, جلد جلی, زخم پہ مرہم نہ لگا, کپڑا جلد سے جڑ گیا, بچی یوں مر گئی. دو ایسے غربت کے جنازے, ایسے غربت کے جنازے ہیں دو, جس میں اکیلا مظلوم امام جو ہے اکیلا دفن نہ کر سکا. ایک ہے بیٹی رسول فاطمہ کا جنازہ, علی اکیلے کیسے قبر میں اتارے؟ 2 ہاتھ بلند ہوئے, علی امانت کو واپس کر دو. امام نے شکوہ کیا, رسول اللہ آپ بیٹی چھوڑ کے گئے تھے, اس کی آنکھ زخمی نہ تھی, اس کی ہڈیاں ٹوٹی ہوئی نہ تھی, وہ غمزدہ نہ شد. دوسرا وہ ہے زین العابدین اور چھوٹی بہن سکینہ, اکیلے سجاد قبر میں کیسے اتارے؟ 2 ہاتھ بلند ہوئے, سجاد امانت لوٹا دو. مصائب کا آخری جملہ, قافلہ جو تھا عاشورہ کے دن امام زینب کو سونپ کے, زینب تم سنبھالو اور تم دیکھو میں جا. 40 کا دن وہ ہے جب زینب بھائی کے پاس واپس آئی. بھیا میں قافلہ لے گئی, میں نے ذمہ داری مکمل کر دی, میں نے سارے پرسے پیش کر دیے, میں نے سارے احکام پورے کر دیے. لیکن ہاں بھیا, بہن بھائی کی قبر پہ بیٹھی ہے, بھائی سے بیان کرتی ہے بھیا میں نے امانت پوری کی, لیکن کچھ آپ کی ایسی امانت تھی جو میں آپ کو لوٹا نہ سکی. یہاں بھیا میں آپ کی قبر میں بیٹھی ہوں, لیکن آپ نے ایک شکوہ پیش کرتی ہے, آپ کی سکینہ میں لوٹا نہ سکی یہاں آپ کو. بھیا وہ روتی اور وہ تماچے مارتے,
میں نے خوب حوصلہ دیا بھیا، لیکن بیٹی آپ کی
الا لعنت اللہ علی القوم الظالمین۔
اے مومنو، جب مجلس شبیر میں آنا، بچوں کا تمہیں واسطہ یہ بھولے نہ جانا، یہ سوچ کے جی کھول کے تم اشک بہانا، مجلس جہاں ہوگی وہاں آتی ہے سکینہ، پانی نہ ملا آج بھی پیاسی ہے سکینہ، پیاسی ہے سکینہ، پیاسی ہے سکینہ۔ اللہ کرے آیا کبھی ایسا زمانہ، ہو شام کے زندہ کی طرف آپ کا جانا، پھٹ جائے گا دل دیکھ کے وہ غم کا ٹھکانہ، بے حال ہوئی قبر میں سوتی ہے سکینہ، پانی نہ ملا آج بھی پیاسی ہے سکینہ، پیاسی ہے سکینہ، پیاسی ہے سکینہ۔ یوں جانب دریا گئے عباس دلاور، اور دریا سے مشکیزہ بھرا بادل مضطر، دریا کی ہر ایک موج یہ کہتی تھی تڑپ کر، ہے تیسرا دن ہائے تڑپتی ہے سکینہ، پانی نہ ملا آج بھی پیاسی ہے سکینہ، پیاسی ہے سکینہ، پیاسی ہے سکینہ۔ شام آ گئی جب چھانے لگا بن میں اندھیرا، زینب نے کیا بھائی کے لاشے پہ یہ نوحہ، کیا تم نے سکینہ کو کہیں دیکھا ہے بھیا، ایک کوزہ لیے دشت میں آئی ہے سکینہ، پانی نہ ملا آج بھی پیاسی ہے سکینہ، پیاسی ہے سکینہ، پیاسی ہے سکینہ۔ جب 11 محرم کو سوئے شام سدھاری، دریا کی طرف دیکھی کہ زینب یہ پکاری، عباس نہ مر جائے بھتیجی تمہاری، بے حال میری گود میں بیٹھی ہے سکینہ، پانی نہ ملا آج بھی پیاسی ہے سکینہ، پیاسی ہے سکینہ، پیاسی ہے سکینہ، دروں کی اذیت سے تڑپتی ہے حزینہ، دکھتا ہے بدن سسکیاں لیتی ہے سکینہ، سونے کے لیے پاس نہیں بابا کا سینہ، ایک کونے میں سہمی ہوئی بیٹھی ہے سکینہ، پانی نہ ملا آج بھی پیاسی ہے سکینہ، پیاسی ہے سکینہ، پیاسی ہے سکینہ۔
آیا ہے علم اور علمدار نایا، آیا ہے علم اور علمدار نایا، دریا سے دل ہے در قرار نایا، آیا ہے علم اور علمدار نایا، جس وقت تماچے لگ بولی سکینہ، جس وقت تماچے لگی بولی سکینہ، کیا مجھ پہ چچا جان تمہیں پیار نہ آیا، آیا ہے علم اور علمدار نایا، آیا ہے علم اور علمدار نایا، دریا سے دل ہے در قرار نایا، آیا ہے علم بازو جو کٹے دانتوں میں مشکی زاد دبایا، بازو جو کٹے دانتوں میں مشکی زاد دبایا، جب مشک چھدی پھر وہ حیادار نہ آیا، آیا ہے علم آیا ہے علم اور جب تک وہ رہا چادر زینب کا محافظ، جب تک وہ رہا چادر زینب کا محافظ، خیمے کی طرح کوئی ستمگار نہ آیا، آیا ہے علم اور علمدار نایا، آیا ہے علم اور علمدار نایا،
بہن کو شامی رلا رہے ہیں چادر دکھا دکھا کے ہے بہن کو شامی رلا رہے ہیں چادر دکھا کے ہے عباس کی بہن کو چادر دکھا رستا بنا رہی ہے بنت علی کا فیضا گھاٹے ہٹا ہٹا کے عباس کی بہن کو شامی رلا رہے ہیں چادر دکھا دکھا کے ہے عباس کی بہن کو شامی رلا رہے پردیس میں کسی پر ایسا نہ وقت آئے نہ میرا منہ میں کوئی یوں بریدہ نہ جائے کرتے ہیں یہ دعائیں اہل حرم کے بچے جولی اٹھا اٹھا کے ہے عباس کی بہن کو شامی رلا عباس کی بہن کو شامی رلا رہے ہیں چادر دکھا دکھا کے بھائی بہن کی آنکھیں نم ہوتی جا رہی ہے بنت علی کی سانسیں کم ہوتی جا رہی ہے خنجر چلا رہا ہے زینب کے دل پہ ظالم خنجر دکھا دکھا کے ہے عباس کی بہن کو شامی رلا رہے ہیں چادر دکھا دکھا کے ہے عباس کی بہن کو شامی رلا رہے ہیں چادر دکھا دکھا ہر ایک بچی کہہ رہی ہے آ مدد کو بابا دادی کی طرح میں بھی اب ہو گئی ضعیفہ زخمی کیا ہے پہلو ناخے سے ظالموں نے مجھ کو گرا گرا کے عباس کی بہن کو شامی رلا رہے ہیں چادر دکھا دکھا کے ہے عباس کی بہن کو شامی رلا رہے ہیں چادر دکھا دکھا کے ایک بچی کہہ رہی ہے آ مدد کو بابا دادی کی طرح میں بھی اب ہو گئی ضعیفہ زخمی کیا ہے پہلو ناخے سے ظالموں نے مجھ کو گرا گرا کے ہے عباس کی بہن کو شامی رلا رہے ہیں چادر دکھا دکھا کے ہے عباس کی بہن کو شامی رلا رہے ہیں چادر جاتے ہیں جس طرف بھی اہل حرم گلے سے کھاتی ہے پہلے درہ کھاتی ہے پہلے پتھر اپنے لہو میں تر ہے زہرا کی بیٹیوں کتنے حیدر کی لاڈلی کو پھاتر اٹھا اٹھا کے ہے آپس کہ ہے آپس رشتہ بنا رہی ہے بنت علی کا فضا کاٹے ہٹا ہٹا کے
کہا زینب نے یہ رو کر سنبھالو بیبیوں چادر سر عباس آتا ہے کہا زینب نے یہ رو کر سنبھالو بیبیوں چادر سر عباس آتا ہے کہا زینب نے یہ رو کر سنبھالو بیبیوں چادر سر عباس آتا ہے بلا لائے سکینہ کو بلا لائے سکینہ کو کوئی زندان سے جا کر سر عباس آتا ہے کہا زینب اے رو کر سنبھالو بیبیوں چادر سر عباس آتا ہے یہ غیرت کا خدا ہے اس کی غیرت کا تقاضا تھا کھلا سر دیکھ کے نیزے سے جو یہ سر گراتا تھا نہیں ہے پاس گر چادر تو رکھ لو ہاتھ ہی سر پر سر عباس آتا ہے کہا زینب نے یہ رو کر سنبھالو بیبیوں چادر سر عباس آتا ہے بھرا ہوگا لہو آنکھوں میں اس کی خود ہٹاؤں گی میں بچپن کی طرح سے بھائی کا چہرہ دلاؤں گی اگر ممکن ہے تو دے دے کوئی پانی مجھے لا کر سر عباس آتا ہے کہا زینب نے یہ رو کر سنبھالو بیبیوں چادر سر عباس آتا ہے اسی احساس سے اس نے نظر اپنی جھکائی ہے اسے معلوم ہے یہ کتنا غیرت مند بھائی ہے چھپائے کس طرح زینب پرے ہے نیل شانوں پر سر عباس آتا ہے کہا زینب نے یہ رو کر سنبھالو بیبیوں چادر سر عباس آتا ہے ملا پانی اسے پوچھا تو کیا بتلائے گی زینب بھلا اس کی بھتیجی کو کہاں سے لائے گی زینب نگاہیں اس کی ڈھونڈیں گی سکینہ کو یہاں آ کر سر عباس آتا ہے کہا زینب رو کر سنبھالو بیبیوں چادر سر عباس آتا ہے تھے سب کی جولیوں میں اپنے اپنے لاڈلوں کے سر رقیہ ام لیلا ام فروا مادر اصغر اٹھی کہتے ہوئے ہر ماں سر اپنے لال کا رکھ کر سر عباس آتا ہے کہا زینب نے یہ رو کر سنبھالو بیبیوں چادر سر عباس آتا ہے بلا لائے سکینہ کو بلا لائے سکینہ کو کوئی زندان سے جا کر سر عباس آتا ہے یا
سکینہ اٹھو میری جان اٹھو رہائے ملی چلو گھر چلے سکینہ اٹھو میری جان اٹھو رہائے ملی چلو گھر چلے سکینہ اٹھو میری جان اٹھو رہائے ملی چلو گھر چلے سکینہ اٹھو میری رہائے ملی چلو سکینہ اٹھو میری جان اٹھو رہائے یہ کرتی تھی ماں لحد پر بکا میری لاڈلی چلو گھر چلے سکینہ اٹھو میری جان اٹھو رہائے ملی چلو گھر چلے سکینہ اٹھو میری یہاں سے چلو چلے کربلا وہیں پر تمہیں ملیں گے چچا ستم جو ہوئے بتانا انہیں دکھانا انہیں یہ کرتا جلا چچا جان کو دکھانا ذرا ردا خوبری چلو گھر سکینہ اٹھو میری سکینہ اٹھو میری بتانا انہیں سبھی سختیاں ملی کس قدر تجھے غر کیا ہماری ردا لٹی کس طرح چنی کس طرح تیری بالیا بتانا انہیں بجھی کس طرح تیری تشنگی چلو گھر چلے سکینہ اٹھو میری جان اٹھو رہائے سکینہ اٹھو میری جان اٹھو رہائے پدر سے ملو تو دل جوئے ہو بچانا انہیں بہت روئی ہو قسم لو اگر تمہارے بنا سکینہ کبھی کہیں سوئی ہو لحد باپ کی ملے جب تجھے تو کہنا یہی چلو گھر چلے سکینہ اٹھو میری جان اٹھو رہائے میں چلو سکینہ اٹھو میری جان اٹھو رہائے لحد جب ملے تجھے بائے کی تو کہنا اسے میری لاڈلی رہائی ملی ہمیں قید سے ہمیں اب نہیں اذیت کوئی میری بے زباں اٹھو گھر چلے شبی ہے نبی چلو گھر چلے سکینہ اٹھو میری جان اٹھو رہائے ملی چلو سکینہ اٹھو لبے القمہ تو کرنا فغاں تیری موج ہے ابھی تک رواں میری پیاس پر ہوئے جو فدا چچا کے میرے ہے بازو کہاں کہاں مشک ہے کہاں ہے علم کہاں ہے جری چلو گھر چلے سکینہ اٹھو میری رہاں سکینہ اٹھو میری جان اٹھو رہاں یہ کرتی تھی ماں لحد پر بکا میری لادلی چلو گھر چلے سکینہ اٹھو میری جا اٹھو رہائیں ملی چلو گھر چلے سکینہ اٹھو میری جا اٹھو رہائیں ملی چلو گھر چلے
یا رب کوئی معصومہ زندہ میں نہ تنہا ہو یا رب کوئی معصومہ زندہ میں نہ تنہا ہو یا رب کوئی معصومہ زندہ میں نہ تنہا ہو یا رب کوئی معصومہ زندہ میں نہ تنہا ہو یا رب کوئی معصومہ زندہ میں نہ تنہا ہو پابند ناؤ آئے آئے پابند ناؤ آئے وہ نہیں پھر پھیرا ہو یا رب کوئی معصومہ زندہ میں نہ تنہا ہو یا رب کوئی معصومہ زندہ میں نہ تنہا ہو تی جس کو نیند آتی شبی گسینے پو تی جس کو نیند آتی شبی گسینے پو زندہ دیر زندہ ہائے زندہ دیر زندہ اس کے گزرتا ہو یا رب کوئی معصومہ زندہ میں نہ تنہا ہو یا رب کوئی معصومہ زندہ میں نہ تنہا ہو زندانوں سے آتی آواز سکنے کی زندانوں سے آتی تھی آواز سکنے کی جیسے جیسے سکینہ کو آئے جیسے جیسے سکینہ کو ہائے زندہ نہ ہو یا رب
اب تک ہے زبانوں پہ علم